The day following, when the people which stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was none other boat there, save the one whereinto his disciples were entered, and that Jesus went not with his disciples into the boat, but that his disciples were gone away alone, howbeit there came other boats from Tiberias nigh unto the place where they did eat bread, after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, neither his disciples, they also took shipping, and came to Capernaum, seeking for Jesus. And when they had found him on the other side of the sea, they said unto him, Rabbi, when camest thou hither? Jesus answered them and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, ye seek me, not because ye saw the miracles, but because ye did eat of the loaves, and were filled. Labor not for the meat which perisheth, but for that meat which endureth unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath God the Father sealed. Then said they unto him, What shall we do, that we might work the works of God? Jesus answered, and said unto them, This is the work of God, that ye believe on him whom he hath sent. They said therefore unto him, What sign showest thou then, that we may see and believe thee? What dost thou work? Our fathers did eat manna in the desert, as it is written, He gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven, and giveth life unto the world. Then said they unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. But I said unto you, that ye also have seen me, and believe not. All the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me I will in no wise, meaning no way, cast out. It's very, very, very important there. For I come down from heaven, not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the Father's will which hath sent me, that all which he hath given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day. And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one which seeth the Son, and believeth on him, may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day. The Jews then murmured at him, because he said, I am the bread which come down from heaven. And they said, Is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he saith, I come down from heaven? Jesus therefore answered and said unto them, Murmur not among yourselves. No man can come unto me, except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they shall be all taught of God. For every man, therefore, that hath heard, and hath learned of the Father, cometh unto me. Not that any man hath seen the Father, save he, meaning Jesus, which is of God. He hath seen the Father. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath, present tense, everlasting life. I am that bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness, and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man may eat thereof, and not die. I am the living bread which cometh down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, referring to himself again, he shall live forever. And that bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. Okay, it's talking about the crucifixion here. Keep that in mind. The Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? He told them, but they didn't listen. Right? Then Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man, and drink his blood, so he doubles down here to offend them further, ye have no life in you. Whoso eateth my flesh, and drinketh my blood, hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh, and drinketh my blood, dwelleth in me, and I in him. As the living Father hath sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is important context for Romans, which we will be reading at some point. This is that bread which came down from heaven, not as your fathers did eat manna, and are dead. He that eateth of this bread, again referring to himself, shall live forever. These things said he in the synagogue, as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, this is an hard saying, who can hear it? When Jesus knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, doth this offend you? What and if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before? It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit, and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not. For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were that believed not, and who should betray him. And he said, Therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me, except it were given unto him of my Father. From that time many of his disciples went back, and walked no more with him. Then said Jesus unto the 12, Will ye also go away? Then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life. And we believe, and are sure that thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus answered them, Have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil? He spake of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, for he it was that should betray him, being one of the 12. All right. 1 second. Oh. Okay, good. Sorry, just had to check the time. YouTube does not allow me to record like 20-minute videos, and I didn't want it to be too long, but... So, coming all the way back here... well, first, let's go over how Jesus was talking to them about being filled by the loaves, right? Now, this is a very common theme that you're going to see in John, where being filled with something is a completeness, right? And this, again, Paul digs way deeper into this, in Romans particularly. And he also tells them not to labor for the meat which perisheth, which means, like, don't labor for food and wages and whatnot, because it perishes. But labor for that meat, and he is referring to himself here, the meat that he's talking about, which endureth unto everlasting life. which the Son of Man shall give unto you. For him hath God the Father sealed. Now you're also going to see this, particularly in Paul's epistles, where being sealed by God is like a certain thing, meaning it will never go away. Once you're sealed, you are always going to be sealed, right? And this again, this is the same theme that we go into later. They ask him, like, what's the work we have to do to be saved is essentially what they're asking, right? What are the works of God? What shall we do, right? And notice what Jesus answers them. He doesn't say, this is what you have to do. He tells them what God's work is, right? Because it's God is the one who labors. He's the one who produces the life, not us, not our efforts, not our own righteousnesses, which, by the way, I think it says in Isaiah. I could be wrong about that, but regardless, in the Old Testament, it goes about how all of our righteousnesses are as filthy rags unto God. Now, if our own righteousnesses, our own morality, our own efforts to quote-unquote be good, you know, if those are filthy rags to God, how can anybody enter into God's kingdom, which is pure, right? Not dirty, it's perfectly clean, with that righteousness? You can't. So we need another kind of righteousness, a righteousness that isn't our own. And this is where Christ comes in. He being our clean, pure white garments. Right? And this is something you'll see in the Bible throughout it. But it's not really truly like gone in depth until you start getting into Paul. But this is why I'm choosing to start with John, is mainly because of this chapter and a couple others. But this one is like I said, it's like one of the most important chapters in the entire Bible, if not the most important, because it tells us what God's work is, right? And then, like as they go on, they ask him for a sign, right? And he explains to them that he is the bread. He is the bread, right? He's the one who does the work. And, the bread being his flesh, right? He talks about how the bread that comes from heaven is his flesh. Let me find it really quick. Yes, here. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, right? He's talking about him being crucified. He's literally telling them and explaining to them that he is going to die, right? And at this point, I don't think the disciples really understood that. Maybe they might have had an inkling, because they did later say, like, this is a hard saying. Because they're basically saying, like, I'm going to give myself, right? I'm going to give my body, my entire being, right? My flesh, for the life of the world. Now, this is another thing. The world means the world. Everybody, right? Everybody. So don't let anybody ever tell you, like Jesus only died for the Jews, or he only died for like a certain select holy few or whatever, or that God arbitrarily picks and chooses who's going to get everlasting life and who's going to go to hell. No. Yes, there is a kind of choosing and election, right? But it's based on God's own foreknowledge. He knows already who's going to believe, who does believe, and who will never believe, as it says later on in John, right? But there are some of you that believe not. For Jesus knew from the beginning, and beginning here doesn't necessarily mean the beginning of Jesus' ministry on the earth. No, it's referring to like eternal things, right? Because God views things in eternity. Who they were that believed not, and who should betray him. But yeah, that's basically kind of the things that I kind of wanted to at least gloss over. I'm not very articulate in my words, but hopefully somebody hears and finally understands. Well, actually, I will go over one last thing, and that is what Jesus says here in verse 37. Okay? He says, all, meaning everyone, that the Father has given to Jesus shall come to him. And him, the person that comes to Jesus, that the Father draws, that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. This is irrefutably, period, absolutely a declaration by God himself, who cannot lie, right? That there is no way, nothing can happen, whether you do it, someone else does it, whatever it might be, nothing will cause you to be cast out from God. Meaning, again, once you are sealed or saved, you are always sealed, always saved. Once you are born of somebody, right? When you are born out of your mother's womb, you are always going to be your mother's child. Always. Regardless of what you do, even if they disown you or whatever, right? But that's the thing with God. He doesn't disown anybody, right? Once you are his child, he's always for you, and he's never against you. This is something that you can take confidence in, right? And in the institutionalized religious system of today that calls itself Christianity, but is not, okay? I'm not going to sit here and play nice and pretend, right? The system that portrays itself and claims to be Christianity is not Christianity. It's not because they didn't do enough works, like they might argue about one another. No, it's because they're not believers. They do not believe these kinds of things. They say that salvation can be lost. They say that God will cast you out, They say all of these things, right? But none of it is biblical. Not a single word. Okay? Trust the Bible. Trust no man, as it is written, Let every man be a liar, and God be true, because he is. He cannot lie about these things. Okay? Now that is everything that I kind of wanted to go over in this chapter. It's a very meaty, important chapter, and I would encourage you, when you're reading this for yourself, to dig through it yourself, and and especially dig into where Paul kind of talks about this kind of stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 7, or chapter 7.